Okay. All right. All right. Abby, you are in your sister's apartment.
I am.
In mine with my furniture. So I have my books and my pictures and my furniture, which is really nice. And today we are going to talk about communities, right?
That's right.
So why we're talking about it is when I was living in New York, I was lonely, but I wasn't lonely like not talking to people, because I talk to a lot of people with my students and all that, and I have the most extraordinary conversation, but I was lonely of physicalness, the physical side of being with a human being.
Yep.
And the doing things together, right? Yes. So, I mean, really after 2 years, so much so that I moved to Spain, right? So then I'm dealing with, on the membership course at the moment, Abby, we're talking a lot about what makes a dictator, what is the source of the crisis, what is a way out of the crisis and all that. And one of the way I think that we're going to resolve this culture that we have created that is coming to an end one way or the other, apart from denial and giving up denial and looking at things the way they are, I think one of the way is going to be through communities, right? So here's what I'm thinking. You tell me what you think. So, you know how we separated ourselves from the universe, right? We separated ourselves from who we really are, from our soul. I mean, we are our soul, you can't separate, but our human and our soul are not connected for most people. And then we disconnected from nature and we have an opposing conflictual relationship with nature.
Yes.
And I think the impact is all around, right? It's this separatedness that we have created everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
And with each other's, of course, right? Once you not aware of who you really are, you then are like separate from everything. Right? So from nature, from each other, from the universe, from everything, right? And then, so there is one, that's the world, the culture we live in now.
Yep.
Right? And then I was looking, I've been in a lot of difficult time, right? I was in the earthquake in LA, in the plane in New York, in the World Trade Center, in the bombs in the tube in London, you know. So I've been in a lot of places where there was tragedies and emergencies and even a war.
You just happened to be there at the time when those events were happening. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
The riots in LA, the floods, the fires, and then the earthquake. Then I moved.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, my father called me, he said, I hope there is no volcanoes there. That's the only thing you haven't lived through. So anyway, during those times, and everybody knows that, right? During this time, the best of human being comes out.
Yes.
I have witnessed the most magical, miraculous, beautiful love ever during those times.
Oh my God, yes.
There is suddenly a connection and everything falls away and you just want to help, you just want to support each other. And there is this amazing support.
Yes.
Right? All right.
Yeah.
That's community, right? When you are for each other. Now, the funny thing is, I'm in Spain, and it's really funny that I will end up here. And Spain is known as a culture for that community feelings. You know, I'm joking that I'm exhausted because I go out to people's home all the time, but it's true. They just like, they see a single woman, a foreigner coming here. I'm invited nearly every night and every lunch. It's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
But there is no homeless in the street on my island, zero. So I asked, because after New York, it was marvelous, right? I said, how come there is no homeless people? And they looked at me. They said, homeless? We would never leave anybody from our family in the street.
Oh. Wow.
So it is in the culture here, and that's what has me think about it. I think that the way to create a new culture for humankind is through communities. I always say the power is with the people, right? That there is this ground swell movement that needs to come from the bottom up. And I always tell people, if we stop eating meat for a week, the killing places of animals will stop butchering them because they will lose so much money, and they will put in place a more human way to kill animals, right? So I think the people have the power.
I totally agree with you.
But we need to be together. So what's the access? What do you think? I mean, you love people, right?
I do. I love people.
But in Hawaii, you were quite separate, though.
I was, in a way. It was interesting because I was involved in a lot of community-oriented movements, but I myself, like in my free time, I wasn't, didn't feel as connected personally.
And you missed it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So to give everybody on this call the access, so it's all very well to say, I think it's through communities that we will create a new culture for humankind. What is the access? What is the access? Maybe it's giving up. It's always giving up, right? It's giving up being busy, giving up having things to do, giving up having to produce results. I mean, there is an enormous amount. Like I moved to a quiet place to, I mean, the community happened in one go, right? I stopped working 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
What else did I do? So I was available. Maybe it's just that simple. One needs to be available.
Yep. I think it's that. And I wonder if part of the access is making our uniting on something bigger than our day-to-day life, like finding a place where we all connect in a more bird's eye view, like something deeper than what we usually.
Yeah, that is not a tragedy, right? Because the only way we naturally go to community is through a tragedy for most of us, right? There are some people that naturally gets it, right?
Yes.
So to replace tragedy with a common inspiration, a common possibility, something in common, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like peace or something that is close to our heart. And then you find the community that has the same aspiration.
Yes.
Because it's very true, right? The community I'm in right now, I mean, my big passion is creating a new culture for humankind, right? And I get it with all of you and the students. I don't get it socially here. First, because I don't speak fluent Spanish, which is difficult to have great conversation.
That's difficult. Yep.
So the social aspect and the physical aspect and the going on walks and the going to dinner parties and all that is great, right? But it's not going to be enough. I think you are right. I think you need to have a common inspiration, aspiration, passion, mission, call it what you want, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's something like how I envision it as something similar to even how you do your ego disentanglement work, which is that, you know, the joy of that work is connecting with your soul and your soul's intention. It's something that can flow through everything. It's something bigger than the human, right? It's like, so having those beautiful places to connect, having those big aspirations.
I think you're right, Abby, because you know what my dream is, right? So I've accomplished a lot of my dreams. I'm on the sea, right? So that was like amazing dream for me, and I'm there. But now I want to make a place where people can come as a community and have conversation about what's possible.
Yes.
Right? And that will be the community, the shared inspiration, aspiration, possibility, the depth of life, right? The mission, the purpose, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Yeah. So with my student that ask, if we go to this systemic crisis where, you know, it gets really difficult, right? Either it will happen fast or it will happen over the years. What is there? Well, how can we prepare ourselves? I would say, make sure you are part of a community where you share values.
I couldn't agree more. It feels like it's of utmost importance.
Utmost importance. I think if you go to survival and put yourself safe, or you think it's safe in the forest by yourself behind a wall with reserve, you know, there is some people that do survival kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be separate and you will create conflict again. It's the separation needs to go. It needs to go.
I love that. It hit me. You think you said that to me sometime last week or maybe 2 weeks, something like that. And I thought, because I'm the kind of person that's also very like, we should get a homestead together and plant our food and get the energy, you know, solar panels or whatever. But when you said that, I heard something different, which is that, yeah, it's still, if you're doing it by yourself, it's still the same.
Yes,
it's the same. You know, you come to the city. I'm in Chicago right now in my sister's apartment, which is lovely. And it's so sweet to be here. And it's so interesting in the city to, you know, everybody has their own little everything, you know, even in the gym, which is like shared. Everyone has their own, you know, login information, their own area, whatever, you know, everyone has their own little bubble. And even going off grid and communing with nature and all that stuff, if you're doing it by yourself, it's still the same. It's the same. I never saw that before until you said that, I don't know, recently. I was like,
more the same, right? It's more the same. It's perpetuating the system of separation.
Yes. That's powerful. I'm actually getting like goosebumps. That, yes. It seems different. It has a different mask, but it's the same.
And it's always a paradox of life, right? Give and you shall receive, right? It's got to be shared. We have to just learn communities and being for each other. You know, it really, my experience here is amazing. When you come to Spain, you have to get what is called an NIE number, and you have to register. So otherwise you can't have a phone and you can't have a bank account, and all that is in Spanish. Right. And I was going, okay. All right. So I went about 5 times, right? Didn't get anywhere. And 2 of my neighbors made it happen. One is a lawyer. She did it online. And then she took me by the hand. She met me at the police station. We got the number. And the other one took me to the bank and I got the bank account and the phone. Amazing, right? They did that just for no reason other than the human and they supporting another human being. You know, I think the last time that happened to me was when I was 33.
Yeah.
Where I arrived on Easter Island and somebody gave me a tomato because I didn't have cash. On Easter Island, there was nothing. I just had a credit card. So they literally gave me food, which without that, I would not have eaten. And I had been 8 weeks at sea. I was starving.
Wow.
So again, right? Awareness is the ultimate power. I really, really think that inquiring into communities, talking about what it means to be in relationship, getting that the whole of life is inside of relationship. By the way, for those of you, there is a seminar on the platform that is the art of being related, right?
So good. Yep. It's recorded now, and you can just, I'm sorry, Sophie, you can just buy it for, there's 3 options, a small amount, but you can watch all the recorded, there's 4 sessions, and it's really good. That was a great seminar.
But I really think that this is one of the access to alter and contribute to the world is to master and dive in what it is to be in a community.
You know, and as you speak, I find what's arising for me is like, what stops me from being the one? What is it that stops me from being the one to talk to people at the grocery or to go to my neighbor's door? Like, what stops me? And all I can find is just fear. It's fear of, like, you know, people judging you or your reputation, all that stuff that we all have. And like, who would we be if we worked through that fear?
And there is a very simple exercise, right? So I go everywhere here. So first I have 2 dogs, right? So everybody, my dogs are I tell you, they're my biggest teacher. They cannot see somebody without going to greet them, right? So my walks are spent with my dogs kind of jumping on people, and, you know, where just like, and people can't resist them, right? So, but every single time I go to the shop, I find the way to talk to the people, because I ask them how you say that in Spanish.
Oh, I love that.
So I keep asking them, and what's the name of that in Spanish? And what's the name? And they are so kind. They love telling you, and they love when I try to pronounce it. But it creates, now I am starting to know the market people.
That is so sweet. So simple.
I know, it's very simple. So I don't think it needs to be complicated, Abby. I think if you make a point, I'm not talking to you, right? But I'm talking to everybody. If you can get that communities and relationship is one of the access to create a new culture for humankind, find a simple, easy way to create a habit of relating to people as human beings.
I love it. I love that.
And I tell you, those 2 years in New York, where I was so alone physically, really taught me that the only people I physically spoke to were the doormen of New York. And they were glorious. And I was so starved for human relatedness, physical relatedness, that I knew about their families, their home, their dreams. I keep saying, well, talk to me a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm, you know, this is the first time I get a very simple access to impact division and conflicts, and we don't have to wait for tragedy for the best of human being to come out. We can just generate, I am going to be related, damn it.
Yes. I love that. It's a great tattoo. I'm going to be related, damn it.
Yeah. And to nature, right? Pick up the paper on the ground, just touch a tree, just go for a walk, right? Like that. So
Yes.
anyway, I'm very hopeful about it. And I pray that we don't need tragedies for people to wake up.
I agree.
Mm.
I agree. That's beautiful, Sophie. Thank you.
Yeah. And the other thing is couples, right? Romantic relationship inside of community, because that's what families are, right? Or, you choose somebody to be in a couple with. And I know it's not easy, right? I personally stayed away from it because I was, but it starts there, right? So some of the people I see now, I see couples firsthand, and I see, gentleness lacking and a routine that is established. But community starts in your home.
I totally agree with that.
Don't wait for the person you love to be sick and die before you wake up.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
And then my next inquiry is, how can we reach people and tell them, maybe people don't want to disentangle their ego, right? Maybe it takes somebody to disentangle the ego. I see it with my one-on-one students, right? Somebody this morning said to me, I never liked Monday morning, but now I talk to you for 2 hours. So I'm actually looking forward to it, but it's not easy, she says, with a big smile. I said, why not? She said, well, I'm 45 and I see that I've spent my life just identifying with something I'm not. I said, yes, but you're 45. I mean, look at the rest of your life, right? But I get it. Some people don't want to go the whole way, right? But just this conversation about community, I think anybody can hear it, Abby.
I agree completely. It's so integral to all of us that we have these relatednesses with the people in our world, in our communities, in our buildings, in our homes. And I think what you said is really important. Like, it does begin with our partners, our children, our parents. Like, it really starts there, and everyone can relate to that.
Yeah. And this call we're doing, like I was thinking of this conversation we're having now.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, right? We having a conversation, you and I, like all the conversation we always have. We always have this conversation, but this one, we're sharing it with the community. So we're letting everybody inside of our relationship. Yes. We're not excluding, and we're not pretending, we're not planning, we're not preparing the course.
Nope.
We are actually letting people listen to us so that they can see what it is to be related, right? What it takes to think consciously.
Yes.
Right? To look for what is possible.
Yes.
So we're doing it, Abby. We're doing
it. We are doing it. We are doing it now. It's happening. Yeah, that's true. And I think on that note, like, we make time to talk to each other. We make the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's important to us. Even when we have weeks where we don't talk as much, we make sure that we connect, and it's a part of our friendship, our relationship, and we make the time for that. So I think being conscious about what we make the time for is important.
Yeah. So the question, listening to you, right, that arises, what do you need? Right? What does one need? Everybody ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need? Yes. And I so needed to do things with people. I would needed the doingness with people, because the beingness and all that I have. But the doingness, I needed to just go to the market with somebody, drive in the same car than somebody, you know what I mean? So ask yourself, what do you need?
What you are saying is so important, because I, as the type of person that I am, I really, A, didn't know how to get in touch with my needs very well. And B, when I did, I because I was sort of in a spiritual world for a long time, I started like questioning, oh, well, do I really need that? I probably don't need it. I could probably do without it. Just constantly pushing that part of myself away. And I think there's actually something incredibly important about listening to that little voice that just tells you what you need. And then there are maybe 100 ways to meet that need. It might not always be the same, but listen to that little voice. It's important.
Yeah, and it's not, it doesn't matter if it's logical, illogical, good, bad, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just, what do you need to be aligned, grounded, and well? Because when we're not satisfied and our need is not answered, we're agitated. And when you're agitated, you're not present, right? So it's, what do you need as far as the beingness and the energy is concerned? What will bring you that peace?
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Right. Okay, Diane, do you
So
want
I'll
to share
check
any
really quick.
questions or comments?
Let's see.
Oh, I appreciate, there are some people that commented on our last call, and I really appreciate them.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I love hearing from everyone. It's just so, it's really special. Let's see. Okay, so we have one comment from Kim Black. She says, this is so great, and I notice I feel driven to produce results and be prepared. Also, I see my soul essence, when I am present to it, brings peace. What could I put into place? It's leaving me. Okay, here. What could I put into place to bring that peace and more song into the world? Well, and hi, Mug. It's nice to see you.
Be the change you want to see in the world, right? So to bring peace to the world, you have to be peaceful. There is no two ways.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, if you walk in a room and you're peaceful, there will be peace.
Yes. And it comes right back to your question. What do I need to create that peace inside of myself? And there, again, could be like 100, 1,000 ways to meet a need.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to a student and about self-development and spiritual development. And self-development is like doing the cleaning in your home, right? You need to clean, you need to tidy up, you need to, that's self-development, right? And then spiritual development is obviously just expressing your solar essence of the material world, right? And the access to do that. And I now can't remember why I was saying that. Oh, you were saying, what were you saying before I started saying that?
We're talking about, we went back to meeting a need. And before that, we were saying.
So Kim was saying, what do I need? Peace. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
and then
okay.
that student said, and I had to explain to her, if you do not love yourself, you cannot bring love to others, because love is not an action, it's not a doingness, and it's not something you get to or you give. It's something you come from, it's a space, right? So you need to train yourself to think of yourself as a space. If your space is peaceful, there shall be peace. If your space is loving, there shall be love, right? And how do you get to that space of peacefulness, love, joy? By giving up everything that is not that. But it starts with you. Self-development is not my favorite. Frankly, Abby, you know, I've been at it for 30 something years. You know, yeah, okay, you clean your house. Okay. There is some other fun thing to do, but it's also very satisfying when your house is impeccable, right? Then you can move on to spiritual development.
Yes. Yep. You taught me that. Truly. I learned that in your space.
Okay. All right. I think we're just talking too much.
I know, we're just having a chatting day. We miss each other.
Right, everybody, we love you.
Love you.
Just give us your comments on communities.
Yes, please. We'd love to hear them.
Okay.
Bye, Sophie.
Bye,
everyone.